What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're making a video about the old Ferd. She broke. I wasn't going to make a video about this originally because I just didn't see a reason to. I mean, pretty simple, straightforward thing, really. But I don't know. I decided I should probably should just because it's fun, first off. Secondly, because if I can keep my train of thought. Secondly, because there is kind of some, things that are helpful to know, I guess is the best way to put it. One of the things that you have to know, but I would have liked it if somebody would have told me before I jumped into it. What we're doing is replacing the shift knob in my POWERSTROKE. Really, I just need it because the overdrive button stopped working, and because the overdrive button stopped working, I just assumed that it was the fault of this stuff because it was. Well, you can see this thing is already tatered, somebody has been put back together, glued and all that kind of garbage, so it should have been replaced when that happened, in my opinion, but it wasn't. So go ahead and get it all gooped up here and swapped over. Now, the only reason I'm talking about this really is because it's one of those things where there's a bunch of stupid little things that have to happen, and it has to happen in a certain order. So you can see here I have the dashboard all tore apart. Well, not all tore apart. The gauge cluster is still in and everything. Columns torn down quite a bit. Bottom cap, because this hole's not big enough to come over this. And this is a tilt wheel, or this is the tilt knob, and then it doesn't want to unscrew, so I just left it there. But I did this wrong. I just started pulling the shell around the column apart first, and I shouldn't have done that. First thing you need to do is pull your whatever you want to call this thing, your bezel or whatever. This thing goes over your steering wheel, has your, if you have a four-wheel drive, it's got that selector in it, your lights and all that kind of stuff. That thing needs to come off first. Then you unbolt. Actually, no. Then, in the bottom of this, you can see up here, there's 3 holes on this side. This center one, get something flat. I use this thing here. It's just a Torx bit, flat tip, and everything. And you need that to get your tumbler out. This is your ignition switch. And you see that bubble deal there on the left, that's a button. Put this in the on position, go up through that odd, out of line 3rd hole in there. Push that button, and then this thing will pop right out. Then you can take this apart, because this top piece won't come off with your ignition switch in it. So you get that apart. There's a plug right here for the shifter itself, and then this is the pin that holds the shifter in. Shifter sits over here, and this pin slides in and out. It's got some knurling up here to hold it in. Real simple deal. Forgot to mention, the first thing you want to do is unhook your battery. Drop your tools on the floor, that's always helpful too. And you unhook your battery because you have to turn your ignition to the on position to get this thing out where your key goes, your ignition switch. So if you don't unplug your battery, you're gonna run your batteries dead. One thing I don't understand is I went down and I just bought this from O'Reilly's. This is a new one. Why does it have so much wire? There's literally like 1.5 foot of wire here. That's insane to me. Whatever. I'll figure out a way to get it all out of the way. The old one, I don't know if it was bad, but it was bad enough that I didn't like it. There, I win that fight. Got the pin back through. It's in. Really easy. Nice button on it. Doesn't look the same, but it looks much better, so that's all good with me. All right, so I should have got a new one of these since I was here, one of these little boot things, but I didn't because, you know, that's how I do things. Mainly because it's torn, but secondly because there's this little pin right here actually holds the whole thing down. Since you don't see it, I mean, it didn't really bug me, but you can see the base down here. I just took my flathead and kind of stabbed it a bit so that it would hold it down and not go anywhere. So the extra wire, I just tucked it under here. I don't really know that, I don't think it's gonna get hurt under there, like with the tilt or anything like that. Let's check that real quick. Make sure the tilt's not gonna hit it or anything. Nah, see, it'll be fine under there. Now I can start reassembling the dash, which is always the fun part because it never, ever goes back together the way it came apart, it seems. It was looking like it was gonna go back together easy peasy. So far, not happening. Aerobic workout. Jumping in and out of this friggin' truck. Alright. Got this all back together. Looks decent. Not a bad look at all. This actually went back together really easy, surprisingly, because, you know, like I said a minute ago, they never do. Next thing next. Putting your freaking shield back on here. Yeah, just like so. Plug your four-wheel drive selector back in. Like so. We got her all slapped back together. Now the real contest is to go hook the batteries back up and push that there button, see if a light comes on. The reason I did this literally is because on the old one, on the old shifter, and this thing's so much tighter, much better, fits in there way nicer. Sweet. I've never replaced one of those before, but on the old one the light wouldn't come on no more, right? And I thought, just that light burned out. Nope. Going down the road like 45, this thing shifts into fourth, drops down to like 940 RPM. Freaking thing's barely moving. And if you don't know anything about an automatic transmission, it might not sound like a big of a deal, like that big of a deal. Like, push the gas, it'll downshift, it's fine. That's the problem. This thing, the engine or the transmissions that they built, that they put in these diesels, were never good to begin with. But then you go do things, you know, like letting it shift back and forth constantly is not good for them. It wears them out quickly. So you don't want it to do that. So that's why you shut it off. Unless you're going to be on the freeway, you don't need overdrive, I promise. So of course the road closest to me that I can get up to the speed limit that I need is the roughest one. There's third, see if the translock goes in. Or sorry, torque converter lock. It should have shifted to fourth at least. Been doing 50 miles an hour. Should have at least shifted into fourth by now. And again, I'm sorry about the bumpiness. It's kind of weird that the torque converter lock isn't going in, but it's not shifting to fourth. So I'm happy about that. fix the problem. Hopefully that torque converter lock goes in soon. So there it has it, right? Quick, simple, easy procedure. Yeah, I mean, it's like 3 screws, a couple pieces of plastic, a little grunting, push a button, push another button, she comes apart. It's real easy. I've done these in Chevrolets and in Dodges. Chevrolet is a lot harder. I don't really remember the one I did in the Dodge, plus it was a van, so I don't know if it coincides at all. But the Chevrolet is the most difficult one that I've done. They got a couple springs in there, and generationally at least, I was a 90... Was it 91? And it wasn't even my truck, it was somebody else's. So yeah, if you got a Ford and you think you need to do this, if your stuff's broken and you're wondering if you should do it, go for it. Cakewalk simple. Thanks for watching.